Hey all, it's Jess from Sunflower Dairy, and I am out here today because it is the perfect time to trim up the fruit trees. So with fruit trees, especially after they have been established for a few years, you want to start trimming off the new growth, at least a little bit, like the tips of it, or if there's a couple different cross branches that are doing all kinds of crazy stuff, then you want to trim those. But it's important to trim your fruit trees, because if you trim your fruit trees, then the fruit trees are going to stop trying to send off new shoots, and then they're going to focus on producing fruit. So you definitely want to do that, but you want to remember to not over prune the fruit trees, because if you over prune them, then there's not going to be really anywhere for your fruit to grow on the tree. And if you go too crazy with it, then you could most likely damage the tree, and to the point where it just either won't recover or will take a super long time to recover. So I'm just taking these trimmers here, and it's very important to make sure you sterilize these, especially when you have multiple fruit trees, because there can be something on one of the fruit trees that could be like a bacteria or something, or some kind of pest that is damaging that fruit tree, and you don't want to be giving that to all of your other healthy fruit trees. So a good thing to remember is to just wipe off the blades of your trimmers. You can sanitize it. Some people use like rubbing alcohol, or other people use like hot soapy water, but pretty much you just want to make sure that you're getting these good and sterilized and wiped down before you move on to the next fruit tree. So I am out here in our orchard, and this here is an apricot tree, and this grew a lot this year. This year we got a ton of rain, and it just really made our fruit trees just totally grow like crazy. This fruit tree was, I'm not joking, like early last spring it was to here. I'm not joking. So that's like 2-3 plus feet of growth. So I'm going to be trimming the little tips off of these branches, and also that'll kind of help bulk up your branches so that they're not so small. And if this tree tries to grow fruit on these little tiny branches, then the weight's going to pull it down, and it could potentially break the branches. So you want to trim the tree so that it's good and healthy. It's going to be focusing on putting off fruit, and you're going to be making a better base for your tree to actually grow fruit, so that your branches can actually support that fruit. So it's important to remember when you're trimming the fruit tree branches to kind of snip at an angle. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to take, this is probably a good 3 to 4 inches, and see how I'm angling this. And I'm just going to do this on all these little branches. This is also good to, get your tree to be shaped the way you want it to be, because you don't want a fruit tree to be super tall so that you can't reach the top of it, and you're going to need some kind of ladder to even get close to the top of it. So by doing this, you're also making it so that the tree is the shape that you want it, so it's not super tall and so overgrown that you can't reach any of the fruit. Just kind of checking everything to make sure, but that kind of gives that, you know, a better shape instead of being like all the way up there. And now you don't have all of those like long little ends that are so tiny that they're not going to be able to hold anything anyway. So these are a bit bulkier and better. And right now, I want to say that right now is the best time to prune the fruit trees or trim up the fruit trees, because right now it's winter. So the trees are pretty much sleeping, you know, they're not growing right now, they don't have any leaves right now, so they're dormant. And it's best to do this when they're dormant, and you know, because in the springtime, that is when they start growing buds and leaves and flowers, and the weather starts to warm up, and that is when disease and pests start going after your trees. So right now, if you're trimming your fruit trees, it gives them time while they're kind of sleeping to kind of, you know, close up where you trimmed the fruit tree. So it's going to have time to, it's called, you know, it's going to scab over where you cut that fresh spot on the limbs. So right now is the best time to do that so that the tree can recover before it starts growing leaves or starts producing fruit, before any bacteria or pests or anything like that are going to start bothering it. It's going to have plenty of time to recover before spring. Alright all, I have quite a few more trees to do, but thank you for watching and have a blessed day.